Hey there, Blue Crew. This is Reckles with WTBGold Blue, and today we are going up against Blingtron 5000's little brother and his two protectors. Now, I actually have 3 strategies for you on how to solo this, but I spent a little bit more time on each one because it just takes a little bit more effort to explain these strategies. So I did a little something different, and while I'd love it if you'd watch all 3 because I put a lot of work into these, I'm giving you an option to just skip ahead to one if you have only that specific pet. So feel free to choose from these 3 options. Other than that, though, let's get on into the strats. Alright, the first strategy we're going to use is the Ruby Droplet, and this is a really easy strategy. She drops off Garnia on the Timeless Isle, has a 1 in 33 drop chance, so I'd recommend getting it off the auction house. It costs about 3,000 gold. Our first tier ability is going to be Absorb. This does about 150 damage and heals you for 150 damage. Pretty basic damage heal ability. Our second tier is going to be Bubble. This blocks 2 attacks. You just have to be careful when you use it on the Protectors, so watch your timing because the Protectors have a reflective shield, so you can waste one of your blocks. And then our third tier ability is going to be Drain Blood. On this fight, it does about 150 damage also, and heals you for about 500 health. Okay, so I really love this fight, and it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. We're going to start off by just using Absorb and putting a little damage into him and healing up from his damage. He's faster than us, but Blingtron alternates between Batter and Bash randomly, so there's no way of knowing what he's going to do. We just put up our bubble and then heal through the 2 blocks. Get back up to as close to full health as we can get. And then anytime I drop below 1200 health, that's when I use my Drain Blood. And then the only thing we can do is Absorb again. And it should be about now that he drops below 300 health. And although I could Drain Blood here, I don't, because it would be a wasted cooldown because he kills himself. Huzzah! Now, at this point, I'm just going to skip ahead to the last Protector because they do the same thing. If you notice, I didn't use my bubble there because it would have been a wasted cooldown. He has a reflective shield, so one of my blocks would have been wasted on hitting myself, essentially. He reflects damage back to me, so since it doesn't matter if it's a 300 damage hit from him or a 50 damage hit from myself, pretty much, I would rather block a 300 damage from him. So I just hit him for 150 damage and then block him later. But Drain Blood, stay at full health. He activates his Ion Cannon anytime he's under 400 health. And then I Absorb. He recovers after the Ion Cannon like any mechanical does. And then you just wail into him, heal back up to full health, and GG, the fight's over. Alright, this strategy is probably the most complicated, RNG-filled, most fun strategy I've ever come up with. It's ridiculous. Good luck. But anyway, we're going to use the Almondvil Aisling. We're going to start off with Poison Lash. This does a little bit of damage and puts a 5-round poison dot on things. This poison is weak against critters, but it's strong against mechanical. Next, we're going to use our heal as Plant. The way Plant works is you plant yourself in the ground, and then every round that you're planted, you can still do abilities and everything, but you store up charges of a heal, and then you deplant yourself, and however many rounds you were planted, that's how much healing you get. So if you were planted for 5 rounds and you store up 150 healing per round, you get 5 times 150 healing. And then we're going to use Stun Seed, and this after 2 rounds stuns the target, and for And for NPC fights, this causes a pet swap. So hopefully you can see what we're going to do. We're going to poison them while they're taking weak damage, then stun them so they go on the back line where they take strong damage. So this is probably one of the hardest, most difficult strategies out there because it's all about knowing your pet, knowing when to heal, juggling everything, juggling their abilities, knowing what's coming. But what we're doing now is we start off with plant, we throw out the stun seed, and then we do poison lash. That's the same every time. And then we do poison lash again, and then we do poison lash again. So that's the same all the time. That's great. Because the third poison lash is for the protector that comes out. So now we've got both enemies poisoned. And then we heal up, replant, and throw out another stun seed. The replant and the stun seed were done while the protective shield was up, so that means we are completely missing all of that, reflective damage, so that's easy mitigation right there. Then we just poison lash him again, get those dots up, wail into Blingtron 499 a little bit, and that causes him to kill himself like you do. We heal up some, replant, and throw out a stun seed. So, as you can see, replant, heal up, replant, throw out a stun seed. That's kind of just a thing. And then you poison him. But knowing when to heal is kind of a tricky part. He swaps out. But we didn't immediately throw out a poison lash. We healed because we were too low. Anytime you're under 50% health, that's a red zone because you're 1 to 2 rounds away from death at that point. Threw out a stun seed, got both teams poisoned, and we had a great thing happen. The protector died on the back line. That means he can't get swapped back in and immediately throw out an ion cannon because that's what we're terrified of. Their fail-safes mean that they can throw out an ion cannon at you, and then since they're mechanical, they can res and then get swapped back in, and since they're under their 400 HP threshold, immediately throw out another ion cannon, and that is death. Even though you're elemental and taking reduced damage. So, healing up, it gets a little tricky at this point, and as you can see, I'm having a tough time deciding between when to poison lash and when to heal. But at this point, it's not even a problem. He's on recovery from his ion cannon, so we're just gonna wail into him. And it was a tough fight, but we won. Alright, I've been waiting to solo something with the Molten Corgi for a long time. He is just the cutest little friggin' thing in the world, and it's surprisingly powerful. Like, he will wreck stuff. So with the Molten Corgi, we're gonna use Bark. This weakens and is strong versus critters, but it's just a basic attack. Next, we're gonna take Cauterize. This is a heal plus half of your last attack. And finally, we're gonna take Puppies of the Flame. It's exactly like Sons of the Flame or Seeds of the Root, except infinitely cuter. The best thing about the Molten Corgi is that he has 325 speed, so he's faster than all these guys. So, Blingtron 4999B is pretty easy. We bark twice, then heal up, Cauterize, and that keeps us pretty close to full health. He doesn't do anything special. He'll swap between Batter and Club. And we do a lot of damage. When he drops below 300 health, he will kill himself. So we Puppies of the Flame, when he drops below 300 health, and since we're faster than him, we get to puppies first. Then our puppies blow up in the Protector's face, so that's great, and we don't take any damage from the reflective shield. So we can heal up through the last round of the protective shield and then bark in his face. Now, we don't want to bark when the reflective shield is up, because the bark is really, really powerful and does a lot of damage versus critters, so that's bad. Now, you notice that I passed there. That may seem weird since it seems like we could have killed him, but it would have triggered his ion cannon. And what I want to do is Puppies of the Flame the ion cannon. So he dropped below 400 health there. Now it triggers the ion cannon, so I can Puppies of the Flame now. He ion cannoned there, but it missed. So now he's in recovery, and I can bark while he's recovering and kill him. So now he's dead. Next guy comes out. I barked before he could put his shield up. He attacks. I heal up. His reflective shield is up, so I passed again. And I bark at him some while his shield is down. And this is the fight, because he is at a point where my Puppies of the Flame will again get him below 400 health. And it will trigger his ion cannon now, but he's gonna miss it. And there we go, now he's recovering, and he's got 3 rounds of recovery where I can just bark at him, kill him once, he comes back, I kill him again. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this very adorable fight, and have a good day. Remember to subscribe, share this with your friends if you enjoyed it, put it on any forums, and I will see you guys next time.